Let's take a closer look at how to calculate rate of return for bonds. In this example, you're offered a bond with a $1,000 par value. Remember, we're assuming that you can sell the bond for $1,000 once it has reached maturity. The bond has the following characteristics: 5 years to maturity, a 3% coupon rate, and a $950 purchase price. Your end goal is to find the rate of return, and to do so, we have two main steps. Your first step is to find the total amount which will be earned on the bond. After we find that, we can move on to the second step, and your second step is to divide the total amount earned by purchase price. Now, we got to move back to the first step in order to move on to the second step. For your first step, you need to take two things into consideration to find the total amount earned on the bond. One is the interest earned from the coupon rate each year, and the second thing is going to be the difference between the purchase price and par value, remembering that we kept that assumption that you can sell the bond for par value once it reached maturity. Starting with the coupon rate. In this case, it was 3%, or decimal form 0.03, and we will multiply by $1,000 par value. That gives us $30 in interest earned for the first year. Now, that is not the total amount of interest earned. We do still need to take into account how many years until maturity. In our case, we have 5 years. So we're going to multiply the number of years to maturity by the $30 we would earn each year. That would lead to $150 in interest earned through maturity. The second part is to take the difference between par value and the purchase price of the bond. Par value is $1,000. Our purchase price was $950, leaving a difference of $50. The final part of step one is to add both together for total earnings. In this case, adding the $150 in interest to the $50 difference between par and purchase price, we would end up with $200. Once we have this, we can move on to step two. For step two, we're going to divide the total amount earned by the purchase price. We know we have $200 earned and a $950 purchase price. When we take those two numbers and divide them, we're going to come up with 0.21. We're not quite done yet. We do need to multiply that by 100 in order to come out with the percentage rate of return. Once we multiply by 100, that would bring us to a 21% rate of return. There is a optional step 3 if you wanted to calculate yearly rate of return. For yearly rate of return, optional of course, you could take your total rate of return and divide by the time of the investment. In our case, we had a 21% rate of return and 5 years till maturity on the bond. Dividing those two, we would end up with 4.2% rate of return per year. This part is optional, but it's a good thing to take into consideration when looking at investments.